Hello everybody. Today I want to make a quick video on how to conserve your food on a sustainable way. And I made another video about how I clean my dishes, and I was showing a little bit the different tools that I have of bamboo, wood, And today I want to talk about this, which I don't know the name. What's the name of this?
A glass.
A glass. So where do you put your food and goes into the fridge, right? And I used to always use plastic, right? And I switched to glass. So I have been buying always glass. Of course, there's here plastic to cover it. Anyways, the most important is that there's glass that goes with your food, and I think that's a game changer. And especially, I think for my observations is that when something is cold, you don't want to be that dogmatic with plastic. You can use plastic, but especially when you use warm food or things that are hot, that's gonna break the plastic, and microplastic is gonna go inside of your food, and then you're gonna eat it, and then you're gonna have microplastics inside, which we all have, and that's gonna disrupt your hormones, okay? So one of the things that you can start doing right now is, check if you have plastic of these things. I'm gonna take more. I have in here, for example, I have this plastic one, right? I will use in very, very little occasions. Yes, I still have some plastic, right? But this is a process of expanding to using more glass. I think that's the approach here. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is about my coffee maker, right? The blender. The blender, as you can see, is already used from today, but this is glass, right? And especially when we do the coffee is very hot. So if this was Tritan, I think there's a material called Tritan, or there's also another kind of plastic. Of course, when you have all this hot, coffee, and you put it inside, and then you blend it with other products, then that's gonna melt the plastic, and it's gonna go inside your coffee, and then it's gonna go into your system. So I think we are not being conscious of how impactful are microplastics on our lives, because we're not aware of our hormones. I think most people, when they think about health, they think about what they eat and the sport that they make, but they don't have this knowledge or consciousness that I think now is expanding about the hormones, right? The man has different hormones than the woman, but we have hormones like cortisol that are, the stress hormone of women and men. We have melatonin, we have, oxytocin, we have serotonin, we have all these different hormones that play different roles in the body. And what the plastic does is disrupt these hormones, and disrupting hormones means disrupting the communication pathways of the body. So hormones, you have to understand that they are like molecules that travel all around the body, and they are communicating things to the body, right? So when we when we eat microplastics, that's going to disrupt that communication systems, which will end up in unhealthy patterns for the system, for the body. So switching to glass is just a very, it's a choice, right? If we have a blender and we have a plastic blender, we have to ditch that, and we have to buy a glass one. And of course, I'm not saying that you have to ditch it and you have to get rid of it, but you have to be very careful of if you use hot, warm, or cold stuff, right? If you're doing a smoothie and it's very cold, then I don't think there's a problem. But I will always choose glass, as a priority. I think also it's very important how we clean this. If I go and I clean this with chemistry, yes, it's gonna be clean, but it's gonna have residue of the chemistry. So then when I do my coffee the next morning, and guess what? This is not that I do something exceptionally. I'm doing this all the time. So every morning I'm doing it. So I'm gonna be conscious. Something that I do every day is something that is going into my body every day. So I wanna be conscious of what I'm doing and the decisions that I'm choosing, right? And here's another example of I have more here. So here's the butter. That's also a glass. And here's the Parmigiano. This is also glass. What else? Also, something that we don't talk about, but I want to show you a little bit my fridge. But everything is on glass. You see, this, for example, is plastic. Here I have sesame seeds, but everything else, you know, the coffee, for example, the coffee is on a glass. I have here some coconut water. This is on glass. I have some flax seeds. This is on glass. I have some this, I don't know how to call it in English. Everything is particularly on glass. Also, for example, the ghee I buy in glass. So I always choose glass instead of plastic. And this also goes with the supplements, right? The supplements, of course, if there's no way to buy other, then you don't have to be like, oh, I'm not gonna buy this. But for example, this type of supplements, which are, I think it's a German brand, they're plastic, right? And they have this, you know, they don't penetrate the light. This is good. But of course, I have this now supplements, and this is of course not. This is not glass. Anyways, there's another way. Of course, being here in Costa Rica, you don't have so many options. But yeah, I just wanted to show you, like, you can make, this is an example, and this is a non-toxic way of living your life, you know, switching from plastic to glass. And in these tiny details, where you conserve your food, where you do your coffee, where you put the food on your fridge. And I think, yeah, this is something that we all can do. And this is benefiting the planet, but it's also benefiting us. And I think we should all benefit us, but also benefit the planet. You know, it's not either one way or the other. So this is another video of this series of natural lifestyle, and I see you on the next videos.